Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're starting a little bit earlier today. That's a change of... I don't know how to say that. Usually I'm late. Yeah, let's see. Quite a lot on the list today. I mean, not like a huge or like a difficult amount of stuff, but quite some smaller things. One thing that I want to try at the start is fixing the issue with the terrain when we used the temp buffers, because I think it is an issue in general, and it is the reason why we had like weird artifacts sometimes when starting. And I'm pretty sure I know where it's coming from and why it's happening. So what we will do is build a reset shader for that. First thing. And that might not stay the same, or that might stay like that in the final version that we try to implement on Monday. But at least it gives us an idea that if that was the issue or not. So for that we go back to our shader folder. Compute volume, and then we basically can we copy that? We might actually be able to copy that. Okay, maybe not quite. I mean, maybe we can if... Does that work? Can I do that? I guess we will find out. Alright, so then we have the reset shader, right? And then we reset here this one. The surface requests and that, and we will basically build a function for that. And we give it basically a U64 surface requests buffer address. Let's just do that. And then U64 indirect raw and indirect dispatch. We basically do that. Oh, and we need the compute buffer, of course. Alright, that was something. And then... Oh, we need the buffer handle, right? Okay. Hold on. I think we can do const here. We basically do if, well, we can do here surface request is valid, and we do that. Otherwise we do 0 if indirect draw is valid. Otherwise we do 0. And if indirect dispatch, otherwise we do 0. Okay, well, that is fascinating. Okay, we want that as... Why is that a... because we do the transition of the barrier, right? That's why it's weird. It's fine. Indirect dispatch and surface requests. Let's remove that. And where if surface requests, we do that. If indirect draw, and then we can probably combine that into the push cons. Can I do 0 here? Yeah, probably not. Now we just do, if we have surface request, basically fill that out. Still not sure how that happens all the time, but it's fine. Don't combine that afterwards, right? Fine. Well, I mean, yeah, it doesn't really matter. I think it doesn't matter. And then here we do reset buffers with compute command buffer, generation component, surface, well, ISO surface requests. Terrain runtime. And the indirect dispatch buffer 0. No, 1 or 0? No, I think 0 actually. Right? Because we write into 0, yeah. So we do that, and then we reset the buffers. Okay, we need to move that up. Somewhere here. And then we reset the buffers with the command buffer and the generation component. That one as a null pointer. And that one as a null pointer. Okay. That should be an invalid buffer, right? Yeah. Okay, whatever. And then this one is our write buffer, which I have no idea which one it is at this point. So basically what we need to do is put that here. And then if that is read, then we do indirect dispatch buffer 1. Otherwise we do indirect dispatch buffer 0 as the reset. And we basically do the same thing again down here. We might consider, yeah, doing that a little bit smarter, of course. It's good enough. Oh, wait. Yeah, but then we need to move that bind in here. Right. And that needs to basically go in here as well. Which might slow us down a little bit. But it's fine for now. The bind goes in here. And then we need to do another bind of the pipeline here. And the barriers need to as well. Okay. Then let's do it a little bit different. Okay. So we do the bind here. We do another if here. And we do the reset here. Copy that. And yeah, that looks fine. Then we put that here, and this needs to go here. I can probably move that up here. to the barriers and then we dispatch. Maybe. I hope that works. It might say that this is not allowed what I'm doing here. Let's see if that works. Might horribly fail because it says that it's not allowed to treat it as a integer. Oh, that's what I thought. Maybe buffer device address. Maybe we look at that. There must be a way, right? I bet there is somehow a way to do that. I mean, I guess I could potentially cast it to a UN64. Maybe. Do you like that? Okay. Alright, but it didn't really work. So maybe I did something wrong. Or probably I did something wrong, right? Let's see if that makes sense. So here we reset buffer 1 and here we reset buffer 0. That should make it work. Is that not working? Let's do a temp buffer again here for our APIs, for our god damn it, for the indirect dispatch cores. Let's remove that so that we do it every frame again, and then let's see what we see in VendoDoc, I guess. Okay, so that is absolutely nothing, which is kind of expected. So it seems like we are not running anything, or what? Why are we running 100 terrain resets? And then just chunk updates. That doesn't look correct. Probably the issue is somewhere here. So here, before we do anything, right? We reset those, which is fine. And then we go in here. Dispatch buffer read. Is our thing here. And we should be resetting. Oh, wait. No. Oh, we are doing it one more time. Why are we doing that? That is garbage. That was definitely wrong. Okay, almost, I think. There is one more thing that we need to reset. And at that point I'm thinking maybe a separate shader would have made more sense. But that's basically an include of, what is it? This one, split requests write buffer. Why is it 2 times here? Basically that. Split requests. And then if u constants split requests count equals 0. We can get rid of that. And that. Need another dispatch buffer here. So that one would be split. Split request queue buffer 1. Yeah, makes sense. And then would be split request queue buffer 0. And then up here, basically the same. Down here, the same. And we need that in the start as well. Here, split request queue buffer 0. I am almost certain that should fix it. Famous last words, of course. 13 unexpected identifier. Did I forget the... No. 13. Ah, it's this. Split null request. Yeah, okay. Guess. That should move into its own header as well, probably. But then again, we will probably redo a couple of those shaders on Monday anyways. Unfortunate. I thought that would work, but I guess not. Is that wrong? Wait, what? And we write into that. And we read from 1. Then wait, am I doing it wrong? Should that be... Should that be 1 and that's 0? Oh, well, or maybe we swap that afterwards as well down here. Alright. Oh yeah, because we do this and this. Oh, that is why. We should probably... Oh. We should probably read from 1 right into 0, right, and then swap it. And then this matches. I'm not sure if it matches here then still. Well, it should, right? Maybe not. I'm not sure. Okay, kinda. I think we just need to flip this here as well. And then it matches again. Kinda. Kinda until it doesn't. Curious why. Because I would have assumed that would work better. Not gonna lie. So let's see. Pipeline state, compute shader. Yeah, it's a hard thing. Okay, but we reset 0 and 24. And we write into 24, that's correct. And we write into 0. And then here we reset 12 and 244. And 12, okay. And then let's see, the last octree update. We write into 24. And we write into dispatch 0. And then we come here. (24) and 0. And 12 and 244. And then we write into 12, 244, and read from 24. Which was the last one that we write into. Yeah, that looks fine. The only question is, do we do some stupid shit somewhere still? We might still do some crap somewhere. It doesn't look like we do. So at that point I'm a little bit lost now, because I would have assumed that would work better. But that is doing the stuff, right? So here. (244). That is then 0, and here that one has a value. Wait, we write into 24. Wait, that looks wrong. Doesn't it? Or does it not? Oh, maybe not. Maybe that's fine. No, that actually might be fine, right? So we write into 24, we reset this one, which before here was 2000 something. Then we reset that. Then we go in here, do all of that crap. And the only other question is why? But then still fail. Because that looks now better. How long is that actually taking? It's not a measurement for like a real measurement, but oh, that's quite long, holy. Oh, the isosurface extraction is actually just the longest part, okay. Makes sense. And then the copy of the buffer, holy. But that is something we will change quite soon. Ah. So basically we come in here with the right buffer being 1, but then we well, yeah, it's 1. So we reset the right buffer 1. That looks fine. Really unfortunate. I thought that would be it, but I guess it's not. But it's very weird that it's only on the chunk level, right? Where we fail. Are we exceeding? No. I mean, the chunk updates here. Okay, yeah, those are all zeros, right? Yeah. That one is the last one that does something at depth 14. Do we see that here? Not really. But I mean, maybe it gets eaten by all the other outputs here. Well, I think we can do if that is 0. We just do that. otherwise we seal, right? That makes a little bit more sense. Not that this will change anything, but like it will still be that. That's so weird. But if I not do it every frame, is it now fine? Probably not, right? Yeah. That's so weird. It looks like it does something weird even. It looks like it writes wrong vertex data. Confusing. So the init volume had like those dependencies and stuff. Don't need to read here, right? We just need to write. Yeah. That one is a shader read for sure. That one is a shader write. Do I somehow need to wait for this to finish? But I thought that this would wait for it to finish. Maybe I need to wait on the compute context here. Maybe it's that was wrong? No. Is shader read correct? I mean, it should be. I think 96 is the flag I want. That is it. But why is that a needed thing? Shouldn't that... Okay, something is wrong then. I don't think I need that. But I guess I do. And what? Why would I need that? I'm not quite sure why I need that global barrier here. So that is basically from any access to read-write access being done. And that's a memory barrier. Yeah, that's a hard block on anything. Which is kind of weird. Because as I said, I would have thought this does exactly the same. But I guess it doesn't. Oh well. I mean, we can live with that for now, for today. I think now if I remove that, we should have it now run. Yeah. The question is, do I need the reset stuff that I added? Or was that completely useless? We can easily test that, right? By removing those resets here and bringing them back here. But again, I don't think this is correct to do. Don't think this is valid. Oh, but it actually works. Then we maybe skip it, I don't know. Maybe we don't do it then. Do we actually? Let's do a render doc though. Just to be sure that we do it correctly. Okay, that looks fine. I mean, that's actually... Oh, and now the buffer transfer is like super fast. Interesting. So yeah, something is wrong with the memory barrier here. But I'm not quite sure why and what. Source stage vertex input. Maybe that... No, that shouldn't matter. And then this one has... command with indirect That looks weird. Why would that be? Oh. Oh, I think I know what it is. Oh, that's the nasty one. Oh, I see. Okay, hold on, then we need to change that. We probably should do buffer barrier. So we give it the buffer handle or alias maybe. Alias. And then here we have U64 alias index. Well, that can be a U32. We will never have more than that. And then let's do this as 0 and 0. Well, invalid index. And well, actually, it's like that, right? Wait, buffer handle. It's an S8, right? Yeah. So we should do that. So this is that alias index. Invalid index 8. And then here get alias offset for alias index. Oh. Get alias size for that. And then get alias access flag. And at that point, I think I actually changed it. But get alias access flag and get alias pipeline flags. At that point, I think I want to move that out actually, because that makes it quite hard to use. So what do I need there? Or actually, let's do it different. If alias index well, if it's that, we do that, else we do that. Let's do that. And then here, what is that? Access. Old access is M access. Context or context is context or current. Let's do current. And this is current access. This is current context. And if that is not invalid, then we get it from the alias offset. Then we have U64 buffer size is M properties or get. Yeah, no, let's do M properties M size. I think I have, yes, or I think I found the issue. I'm fixing it as we speak. That is offset. So I found the issue. I didn't understand why it fixed it, but now I understand it. And it's that I have hazard tracking for the barriers. Basically, I always save the current and last context, right? If it's a compute or a graphics access, and if it's a read, write, shader indirect read, blah blah blah. I save all of that. But now that I changed it to a temporary ring buffer, and we use the same buffer but just with different regions, we only save the access for the last alias that was used, but not for each individual alias. So what that meant is that the access was indirect read, but the buffer region was actually a shader read region, and then everything collapsed based on that because it tried to do a barrier that didn't really make sense. So it didn't block anything what it should block and so forth. So I think I need to store here next to that the access flags as well. Access and context. And then here we get M aliases at alias index. And we said our current access is that basically. Const alias info. Well, actually it's not const, sorry. It's that. And then this is our access. Then our current context is that context. Our offset is our alias info offset. And our buffer size is our alias info size. And yeah, I'm not sure if I like how I implemented that, to be honest. That was kinda, and it's not hacky, but I'm not sure if it's sustainable like that. I think I need to rethink how I want to alias buffers. I don't think that's very straightforward. And then we need to update here access to new access, and we need to update alias info context to new context. That should do the trick, and I think with that we should be able to remove from the terrain. No, it was here, right? Where was that? Yeah, this one, this barrier, I think we can remove now. I think. Alright, that happened to me probably as well already. what? Oh, where? Yeah, in the Elias creation. We can buff Elias. Yeah, here. Context. Probably context graphics, it's fine. I think we can actually leave that out. That should be fine, right? That should default initialize the other things. That's always the fun, right? That like one graphics card went us. So like for you, half of the terrain was missing, right? And for me, it was working. All right, so that works. Let me remove the debug prints. So I think it's this one. Do we have another one? Yeah, that one we will keep. That one we can, I think. Let's keep it for now. Okay, that one is gone. And then probably we have some more here. No? Some more here? No. Oh, but the brushes don't do anything. That's great. What else do we have here? Oh, the isosurface extraction as well has one here. Yeah. Alright. I think that should still work. Let's regenerate all the shaders. If it does, we can move on to the actual thing that I wanted to do today. But I will submit that first, because that's actually a good fix. I want to as well in 0.5 or 0.6 look at if I can make the engine start a little nicer. Alright, so that works. Cool. So let's bring back one thing before we submit, otherwise I will hate my life. We bring that back, and then actually as well. No, let's not do that yet. That's fine. Alright. Let's actually remove the reset stuff again. This one. That's fine here. We can do that here. Don't think we need that. Why is that happening all the time? I don't get that. Something is weird. My keyboard does something weird here all the time. Not quite sure where that is coming from. Is that in the text editor as well? Well, I started to test in the text editor. I think we can then remove those again for some cheaper initialization. Cool. I think that all should work still. And I think we can move this out of the loop again. And we can Move this out of the loop again. And this invalid one we can remove. This one we can actually completely remove. Perfect. So I think that should all still work. God damn it. Too much. Remove too much. How did I manage that to remove too much? Did I really break that? How did I manage that now? Shouldn't that work? Chunk ocg, word ocg, fine shader effect. How did I break that now? What the hell? Let's render doc that again because I'm not sure how I did that now. We're not even running it? Nothing? What? How? Did I break a shader? Doesn't look like it. We're not entering here. Oh, it didn't compile, okay, cool. Okay, we are running this. Oh, it's here, okay, whatever. Whatever. Let's not question that. Let's see if it works in the beautiful... Yes, it does. Let's take one sample, let's kill the application in the meantime. Yeah, that makes sense. So the isosurface extraction is still the slowest part, which makes perfect sense. I know that. we will not do that every frame anyways, but... Okay, so does this work now again, or was that what's breaking it? But that would be weird, but okay. It is actually what's... Why is it not... What? Why is it not working the first time? What? So we reset 0 and we reset 0 here. And then we write into 0 here. And we write into 0 here. Hey, Sedashaw, thank you for the raid. Welcome, welcome everyone. I hope everyone is doing fine and had a great... I hope you had a great stream. What were you up to? Yeah, it's going good, it's going good. We have a weird issue that the terrain is missing in the... Wait, it's missing every second frame? Oh, that's a good indication. But yeah, we can already... we can already draw stuff here. So if we move the light source up, you can see we can update here. We can subtract stuff as well in the distance here, for example, or down here. We have cubes, so we can do like 20, 10. Well, let's do 40, 20, 10, and then we have like a wall here. Oh, well, that's subtracting, sorry. Oh, did I... let's restart quickly. Yes, this is all using SDFs. So let's bring back the terrain by moving. So let's do the cube again. I just restarted because we might sometimes have an issue with the vertex count yet, because I'm not gracefully handling the vertex count. But yeah, you can see that we have here that, and it already updates the detail while moving as well. But yeah, we have ellipsoid as well, so we can do an ellipsoid. So let's do 30, 30, and let's do, I don't know, 60. And then we have a ellipse here. So we have all of that more or less running, and it's updating already based on the camera movement. So the further we go away, the less triangles we use. So we have an LOD system already in place. And you can see that as well, that if I go here and do a sphere and do that of like 1 meter, and then yeah, sometimes it doesn't really update. I don't quite know yet why. That's something I need to figure out. Ah, yeah, here. So, and then we have it. Ah, I think I know now why it is happening. But we have like super small detail as well, and we can go down to 20 centimeters, and we have 20 centimeters here, right? Detail. The LOD is not perfect yet, because as soon as we go a bit too far away, it quickly disappears, right? So I need to tweak the distances a little bit. But for bigger shapes it already works quite good. It's interesting that it works for every second frame, which makes me think maybe I need to swap back what I had before. Because here we swap read and write. I'm wondering if that's maybe not correct what I'm doing here. So that would be buffer 1, where we write into. But this one... we would write into 1. That looks sus. So we flip those two, so the read becomes 0. I think I need to swap that back again. Yes, it is Chrono Trigger, yes. Okay, maybe not. Well, I mean, it now at least works all the time. We don't have the weird flip anymore. Fascinating. Yeah, it's something with those buffers here that's wrong, probably. So we write into 0. Which one do we reset? We reset 0, yes. So we write into 0, and here, I mean, we should write into 0 and read from 1. That is still my assumption that this should be correct. And then here, that should be that we read from 0 and write into 1 initially, yes. And then we flip that so that we read from 0, because that's where we wrote into. Yeah, that should be fine. But then I think this needs to flip, right? Otherwise it's wrong. Because we need to be symmetrical here. I think we will only have the ground now. Yeah. If I do that, we only have the ground. So yeah, I need to flip those as well. So here we do 1 and here we do 0. But why it doesn't work the first time, it's a little bit beyond me. Because that should work. Famous last words. Let's look at source tree. What did I change? Because that didn't really... I didn't really change anything there, I would say. Okay. Wait, did I not remove... Did I not restore that? Did I not save that or what? I didn't save that. That might be the reason why it's not working. Maybe. Oh yeah, it was. Okay, cool. I thought I saved that shader. Whatever. Alright, cool. So it's working, so let's ship all of that. Fixed terrain volume. To use tampering buffer for indirect dispatch buffers. Fixed aliased buffer. Fixed memory barriers. Hazard tracking for alias buffers. So that is basically in Vulkan you need to, like in DirectX 12 as well, probably DirectX 11 as well, but that I rarely did, so I can't say. You need to tell the GPU what kind of access you have on your buffers. And I had that for normal buffers, but Elias buffers reuse memory and they were not storing their last access correctly. So when we set the barrier, they set the wrong source access. So that's that. Alright, so let's get actually to the thing that I wanted to work on today, which is adding a new type of shader graph. And I think we will copy what we have from the material shader graph. And well, it's not living in graphics, that's for sure. So it will live in the volume module. The question is, so this is, maybe we do a shader graph here. I don't know. And then let's, well, okay, that didn't work, of course. And then here, volume graph. And let's open that, paste that in for now. Then we go private Onyx volume. Create the CPP for that, shader graph. So that should be fairly simple to get up and running, I say, but let's see. Maybe not. Do we have a volume? Oh, we don't have actually a volume, like a CPP for that. So maybe we don't need one. Let's remove that for now. Maybe we don't need one. Source definitions. Okay. Didn't work as I wanted it to work. Oops, here. Probably my alphabetical skills are really bad. Okay, it's the first one of the S's here. So here. Shader graph slash volume graph. I think we need more than that. Let's quickly create all the classes that we already need. We probably have a material. Okay, we don't. Node graph. Editor context. Do we not have this extended for the shader graph? For the material graph? Oh, we do. Why do we only have that? Ah, because we only use it for this context yet. Okay, yeah. Volume graph editor context. I think for that one we have probably, yeah, for that one we have a CPP. Node graph. Well, let's copy that one. So that's for the editor, volume graph editor context. And let's add that as well to our editor. And then I'm not sure if I need more. I mean, probably, but let's see. I mean, very likely I need more. other type, node type registry, but we will deal with that once we have the UI up and running. So let's generate the project. So yeah, the plan now is we have shader graphs, so that those are stuff that like create, like you can think of it like the blueprint material system in Unreal, right, where you can do shaders in blueprints, or like, I mean, it's blueprint like, but they call it as well, I think, material system or material instance and stuff like that. But basically it's that, and I have the same system, so you can build shaders with nodes. And the SDF function currently is, like for the terrain, is in one shader, which is, where is it here? No. God damn it, where was it? Shaders. Ah, it's includes, right? Here. And then volume here, test SDF function. So that is basically the current, so it's a plane plus a sphere, right? That's what you see on the screen. And I want to move that into a shader graph, so basically that you can define whatever you want as your base terrain. So that's the plan for today. It shouldn't take too long, famous last words. But it's quite a long time ago that I added a new graph. So let's see how good I made the system back then to actually add a new graph. I think I did it quite okay, but every time I added a new graph, I found new stuff that wasn't quite working perfectly. Volume graph. So the first thing is quite easy. We just change that to volume. Shader graph, probably, yeah, that's fine. Maybe we should call it a volume shader graph, the file, but... Or like, you know what, kind of... No, let's... I'm not sold. So that's in volume. That is in volume here. We don't need a shading module, don't care about that. So all of that doesn't really matter right now. I think I can close that and go to the volume shader graph context. Volume shader graph editor context. This is a volume. Volume shader graph. Let's for now use the shader graph factory. We probably want a separate one. But for now, let's stick to that one. Probably want a separate color for this one. Volume graph editor context. We probably, yeah, as I said, I want to probably rename that. Why is it? What do you mean precompiled header needs to be? What? What are you smoking? Why would I want that? That is sus. Maybe I need to regenerate the solution. It doesn't look correct, whatever Visual Studio did there. Because I don't have a precompiled header for that. Not that I would know. I will get some water. Be right back. What the hell is going on? What the hell? Why would you think that you need a precompiled header suddenly? But that one has... Wait, what? Has a non-virtual public destructor where? Not here. Isn't here my asset interface? Okay, ref counted as a virtual destructor. Something is fishy here. Add public to asset interface. But asset interface? What? Asset interface. That one has a public one here. Here. Ref counted. Or is that not implemented? No, it is implemented. Well, you know what? In hindsight, like in doubt. How many changes do I have? Yeah. Quite some. I mean, I guess I can do... Can I do that? Let's actually save those files, I don't care. So it's all in modules. So let's move that out for now. Clear the directory. Regenerate everything and then hopefully it fixes itself. I have no idea what Visual Studio did there to brick it like that. So let's try that again. That was the first time that I did CMake with Visual Studio, so that might have ruined something. Usually I do it with the command line here. But yeah, feel free to follow, I really would appreciate that. I stream Wednesday to Sunday every day. Saturday and Sunday I stream in the afternoon, most of the time longer. This weekend unfortunately is again an exception of that because I have plans on Saturday and Sunday, so I'll probably stream in the evening. And during October and November I stream as well on Mondays because I took all my Mondays off from work during October and November. And those are now development days for the engine. That will probably not be the future because I don't have that many vacation days, right? To do that long term, but it might happen again, like next year, for example, if I have leftover holidays again. Yeah, that initial sync of the project takes quite some time. When you need to re-download all the dependencies. Alright, so we have that, and now let's move in our modules folder again. And that should give us again the same diff. Oh god, did it delete it now? Build dependencies. This is where something that we will fix with the next version of the engine, because that is very annoying. And that's mostly because it lives in its own dependency stuff, and yeah. And the template project and all that mess that I wrote on Discord. It's just a pain. It's like a decision I made at the start of the project, and it's really not that smart in hindsight. But that's what you learn. Alright, so let's see. Does this now look better, or does it still say we have a precompiled header somewhere? If it still says that, then maybe... Yeah, no, I'm not sure where that would be coming from. Let's see, volume, context. Okay. That looks better. Okay. Let's not... Yeah, let's not do that yet. I think that's fine. Probably. That one, not so fine, but we will deal with that when it's the time. And then let's go to editor main window. Need to include here our volume graph editor context. Then we need to create a new menu item here. Volume graph editor title. And here volume shader graph editor context. Let's already name it here volume shader graph editor title. Go here. Localize string. Volume shader graph Windows. Volume shader graph editor. Maybe volume graph is fine. I don't know. I'm thinking just maybe we have a graph that's not a shader, and then that I have something that I have to basically figure out how I would want that. I think we need to add it one more time somewhere. Because that's just a menu bar. Don't think that's... Yeah, we need to do it in the startup as well, right? Yeah. Shadergraph. Well, volume shadergraph editor context. Shadergraph editor context. Let's see how far we get. Probably not far, actually, now that I think about it. Because we still need to reference it. Graphics system, right? Is where we do the other one. So what we need is here, this one. Volume system. Oh, it's called volume module. Sometimes I really hate myself. I should stick to a naming. Assets, asset system. Wait, do I not? Yeah, okay, no, I need asset system. And we need to include that, of course. Oh, like that. Well, we'll declare that one. Here let's kill that. That will not go far. Volume shader graph. And that is volume shader graph serializer. And then we need the graphics API as well, okay. Alright, and then we need more stuff. So material, shader graph, serializer. So let's go there. Projects. Into the Onyx directory. Volume public. We don't have a serialize yet. It seems like, okay. Any opinions? Should it be volume shader graph or volume graph? Open for suggestions. Because I am really not sure which one I prefer. One is shorter, one is more explicit. It's always a pain, names. Serialize. Alright, and then we go back here. Did I not have that open here? Okay, whatever. Dependencies. So we have source here. Serialize. Volume shader graph. Serializer. Is that what? Oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. Serialize. Like that. Perfect. Let's this time generate the project correctly, not with Visual Studio, but the actual script. Not to break it again. But that's something I should figure out as well. What Visual Studio does there to break it. Because that's not good. So yeah, the plan for today is replacing the hard-coded shader that we have with the shader graph. Should be doable, and then tomorrow in the evening when I'm back, I will add a couple of shader nodes so that we have all the primitives as shader nodes exposed. So basically the cube, the ellipsoid, everything like that, so that you could build a CSG tree inside a shader graph if you want to. And I as well do the noise function that I already have, and then we can create a terrain with that. A base terrain. Should be quite nice to do. Alright. So we have that. Reload. So we have a volume shader graph serializer. Volume shader graph. All volume. Maybe. Oh, let's actually call it volume graph. I don't know. Not sure. That's the best. Okay. Volume, well, not graphics. Volume, serialize that. And then here as well, volume, data graph, volume graph. And all of that should be fine. Why would you not want that? Was that not the same? Material shader graph. Yeah, exactly. And then this one takes a shader graph. And you're a shader graph. Aren't you a shader graph? Wait. Ah, we're in the wrong. That's why. Alright, now everything makes a little bit more sense. And then volume system. Volume module, of course, because I'm not consistent with that. Oh, and then we didn't save that one. forward declare, all of those. Beautiful. And that should give us most of the stuff that we need. To at least hopefully see it. Yeah, so we have it here. Do we have nodes? Yeah, we do. Okay. Can we save is the other question. And what do we save it as? Okay, maybe not. Do we not have a save? Do we not have the extension here? Yeah, I had to restart because I changed the code. And of course. Editor context. Okay, no, that's not so bad. Let's see, what do we get as step into specific? Extensions 0. Why would that be the case? Oh, because we don't return them yet. How does that even work for the other then? The graph? Are we not saving it and I just always put the extension in there? Funky. I guess I did. Well, let's see, that's one of those things that you find suddenly when you do something new. But it doesn't really matter too much. The question is, how can we quickly test that now, I guess? Quickest one would be if we create a new node. But I mean, I can as well maybe just save an empty thing. Let's do a material out. I don't know. And let's just do here. Create a vector 3, that's just that. And if we save that as test volume dot volume graph, I think. Did that save it? Where did I save it? Oh, in here. But it did save it. But it didn't create a shader, right? But that looks fine. But it didn't create a shader. It looks like it. Why would it not create a shader? Shouldn't you be run? Shouldn't that be run when I save? Okay, it does run. Okay, it has compiled. It has nodes. Okay, it does generate the shader. Ah, sorry, it's on the wrong screen. So it does generate the shader. The shader is of course garbage because that's not what we want for that. But why is it not saving it then? Where do we save it? Interior. Well, our shader graph. Editor context. Or is it in the material shader graph serializer? No, all of that should be fine. Serialize. Are we not getting in here? Go in here, we go in here, but then we don't go further. We're never entering here, what? We are not. Okay. Why is that the case? The extension is correct, right? Build Onyx source, Onyx modules. Not sorry, data. Oh, volume graph. Oh, volume graph. So that should work. Okay. Let's go deeper into that. So we should hit this, right? Okay, yeah. Okay. Serializer is correct. And then we request a save. We already have one. But it's stuck. How can it be stuck though? I mean, that's fair. All of that is fine. But how can it... First of all, how can it be stuck? But let's go here and see what happens. And restart, of course, because yeah. Material out. create vector 3. Perfect. And we go in here, go in here, go in here. Have a serializer here. Where do we end up? Okay, we end up in here. Now we go in here. We would want to write that. We have a shader code. We write success. Okay. Handle on save finished. And this one should be card as well, right? Yeah. Why does it not remove it? Because the ID is invalid. Why is the ID invalid? Okay, well that's a future me issue. Is it now safe? But where's the shader? What the hell? Everything. I didn't write it. Why would it not? So we entered the serialize here. And we entered this one. And then we write it. Right? That's very bizarre. So there's two things that I don't quite understand yet. I mean, we didn't save that much yet, so that kinda... We never really saved that much. So I kinda see why my save might be buggy. But the shader graph, I'm not quite sure what happens. That handle, is that invalid or what? The handle ID? It is invalid. Okay, wait. But that is kind of stupid then. Request save. But isn't... What the hell? metadata ID and asset handle ID. Ah, it's maybe this one, right? So asset. How do I even do that? In this case. Probably I can't. Because it's a const reference, right? Okay, why that is interesting, and I will note that down. That's a bug. For sure. Yeah, that's a bug. Okay. But that doesn't explain where my stupid file goes. Engine test volume O shader. Now we have a shader out stream. Is that a valid stream? Basic O stream. My state 2. So that's maybe not correct, right? Oh, wait. Is it that? Yeah, I think. No, but that returns a file path. And the file path. Oh, it's considered to be already a full path. We should fix that. We should make that better. Get shader. That one probably handles it better, right? Yeah. That's a pain. We probably need to add some logic to the path recognition that it checks if it's a mount path or an absolute path already. Because that is the second time that I have to fix something on that front. Alright, let's do that again. So now we should be able to get the shader graph. Material out. Oh, that doesn't work. Okay, cool. Create and save. And now either we crash or we get a shader. Which one is it? We get a shader. Perfect. Alright, so halfway there. So now the only thing we need to do is volume editor context problem. Yeah, volume shader graph editor context. Into the edge. So this is probably not what we want. I'm not even sure what exactly we would want, but I mean, for now we can add it and we clean that up tomorrow. We can add those nodes to the normal node graph for now, but we will probably need to change that. Nodes. CSG sphere. CSG sphere volume graph node. Just sphere volume graph node. Nah, let's keep it explicit. That's that. And we need a couple more things. We need a shader generator as well. So, here, where is that? That is in shader generator. So probably we need as well in volume here. Where is that? Is it in shader or just shader generator as a folder? It's shader generators. Okay. We can do that. Hey lol boy. Welcome, welcome. Volume shader generator. Age. Now we need a volume shader generator here as well. So shader generator volume shader generator CPP. Beautiful. And we need to add a couple more things. As I said, it's mostly adding stuff. It's not really anything particular that's like shader volume shader generator. No, what did I press there? Whatever. And shader probably here. Oh wait, its path is not correct. Shader generator, I think, right? Oh, okay, generator. Is it as well for the PBR one? Is it? No, it's generators. Okay, so let's do that, just to be sure. So that's the path. Is a little bit the same. Shader slash generators. And then let's fix that here. Generators. And let's go in here, public. So public and private is just include and source, right? It's basically that. Oh, here I named it already. Generate. That's perfect. Close. Let's generate the data, the project, so that we have the source files. So yeah, we have the UI already. We just need to add a couple of things, and then we are good to go. I think for now we could even hack it together. Maybe we do that. Well, we still have an hour, so maybe we don't have to do that. God damn it, there was an error somewhere. I still need to figure out how to keep the bot open. I mean, it's a pause, but I only want to do it on error, and I don't know how to read back the error yet from CMake. Probably it just returns a non-zero error code anyway, so probably it's very easy, but didn't come around to do it yet. So that the window stays open if it's encountering an error during generation. What? Oh, private. Did I really do that? Of course I did. Classic one. So yeah, with that, if that works today, that would be a big chunk done again from 0.4 version. Then it's really just a little bit of performance improvements on Monday and maybe next week. I mean, Monday is next week, but maybe a little bit more of next week. And then I think I can... It's not done, as I already multiple times said, the terrain will never be done, but it's in a good shape, I think. Then to at least move on to something different for the time being and then come back later again. Alright, so we have a volume shader generator somewhere. Perfect. Let's go to the PBR shader generator. Well, I did that and then didn't do it. Shader generator. And we go here and basically do volume shader generator. And we do a pragma once and an include. And then the question is, what kind of functions do I have here? Don't need any of that crap for now. Set stage and then generate shader, and this one. Can I override that? No. Not yet. And this one is just so that... Oh, okay. Maybe we... That's a bit annoying, not gonna lie. Something I did not really consider. And we might need to change that. Probably this needs to move. For now, the easier one is just marking that as virtual. I will probably forget that. So basically this would just override basically the do generate for now. Generate shader override basically. Shader generators volume. All right, and then here that one is kind of simple. Or we need to basically still do that. That is fairly similar. It's just that here. Do I need anything here? I don't think so. Don't need any of that crap. Don't need that. Don't need that. So that's the common includes, or that's just the includes, right? Because we don't have any other includes. Is that private? Looks like it. God damn it. Take the line already. So we take our includes, shader stage, include that. That's our includes. We don't have any specific ones here. And then, yeah, that would be basically the shader stage code. Do we have a... I mean, I guess we have one for each of them. It's 5, 0, 1, 2, 3, or 5. So I guess we could mark it as all, right? Because we don't really care. Because we basically create a header and not an O shader. But that's a detail. So I think we don't even need that because we create... How does the test SDF function look again? Does it have anything here? Basically need to have the same or similar includes to that. Okay. Yeah, nothing too particular here. Okay, so we actually don't need anything here. We just want the includes with an empty line in between, and then Let's add one empty line at the end and the shader stage code. That should be that. And for this one, I mean, probably we want to include those, but realistically we don't. Or this one we need to... No, actually. Ah, no, in the final one we need to include that, right? Or do we? Yeah, in some sense we have to include that here. So let's go back to the shader generator. So basically what we do here, yeah, this one. We add and include in the shader stage all with includes slash volume, I think it was. Yeah, volume sources dot age. Most likely. Ah, that's interesting actually. Because I think, for example, where do the vector nodes add their shit? Append code? But where? Oh wait, is it... Where do we call that again? Fuck. Do we even call that? Yeah, we have to call that somewhere. Shadergraph serializer? Probably. Serialize. No, okay, material. Shadergraph. Ah, no. Where is it? Editor context, that's it. Material, no, shadergraph, editor context, right? Yeah, here, generate. And then here, yeah, that is it. Here we set the stage to fragment. And then we append all the code from the stages. That's fine, I guess, for now. But that's very heavily dependent on the material shader graph, which is not really ideal. Okay, but that makes sense. Okay. So that technically ends up in like empty space. So I guess we would have to do fragment here for it to work. Currently all node generated code is added as fragment code. Which is fine. It's not a big deal. Alright, and then we have the CSG sphere. Okay, no. Did we not add that? Maybe not. Did I not add the CSG sphere here? Was it in shade? No, it was not in shader, it was in shader graph nodes. I mean, the question is, do I want it? Yeah, I mean, most likely. I don't know. It's a bit pain, not gonna lie, but it's fine. Let's add it. Sources. Basically, wherever we have our shader graph. Or underneath, we add a nodes CSG sphere shader graph node. Was it done? CSG sphere volume graph node. Volume graph node. Perfect. And I think I created a CPP for that. But I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. Guess we will find out the hard way by running this. So yeah, for today I think plan is getting the sphere. But maybe that's not even possible. I underestimated how many files I have to create for that initially for a new graph type. Didn't expect that. Or maybe there is not a volume shader graph node. Did I not create that? God damn it. Hey, it's going, let's say that. We fixed a couple of things. Okay, I guess I didn't add that shader graph. And then nodes and shader or CSG volume or CSG sphere volume graph node. I did it. It's was some good progress the last 2 days. Fixed a couple of bugs and it's very stable now, the terrain, I would say. It can still crash, which is something I want to address next week. It's when we run out of space in our buffers, which is not very gracefully handled currently. But the buffers are so highly over allocated currently that it's not really a problem, but we might run into that though sooner than later. And what I'm trying to do now is making the terrain one little piece better, which will give people a lot of freedom. And does that run now? So, because currently the base terrain for people joining again or new, the base terrain plane is all defined within one shader function currently, which is, if I find it here, test SDF function, and we basically do a You can ignore all of that below here, that doesn't really matter. That's for edits. But this is the base terrain. So basically that you have a plane and a sphere currently spawned. The plane just 10 meters above the origin. Infinite basically, and then the sphere is 1000 meters in the Z direction offset and 500 radius. And that basically gives you this thing, right? So we have a plane, infinite, and then the sphere. And I want to move this out so that you can do something like a shader graph. So we already have the shader graph here for materials, right? Where is it? I think it's in the project, right? Yeah. So this is the shader for the material, right? And I want to do the same for the terrain. So basically that you can do a function or a graph, and then basically you have new nodes. I need to expose the sphere node, the plane node, and stuff like that, and then you create a graph that constructs the base terrain. And you will have a noise function there and stuff like that. And then you just go here, terrain, plug in the shader graph for the terrain, and that's it. And it will do it. That's the plan. We will get that quite quickly, not gonna lie, that shouldn't take too long to add. It's just a lot of functions that we need to add and a lot of files, because it's a new asset type and whatnot, blah 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 blah. All of that crap. Oops. Well, we have... Yeah, it's basically the whole base terrain. You can imagine it like a height map, more or less. You would define a 3D height map, basically. It's for the whole terrain, yes. Well, I say for the whole terrain, right? The terrain can be sized, so you can make it smaller. Currently it's sized based on if it's -1, -1, -1 here in dimensions. It basically auto scales to your camera far plane size. So it will always span the full far plane distance. But you can make it smaller or bigger, but I wouldn't recommend that. And maybe I even block that because it doesn't make sense to have it bigger than the far plane. The reason it doesn't make sense to have it bigger than the far plane is because you can never render more than the far plane, and your terrain function should handle the case that it goes outside of that space, right? If that makes sense. Is it possible to have a differentiator for each of the things? So the plan would be that you have one general shader graph that defines the base terrain, which most of the time will be some sort of noise function, most likely, because you probably want some sort of noise as the base terrain, be it a simplex or a Perlin noise, and then different octaves merged together to give you like some detail. And then you will have brushes to do small details, right? That's the two-step thing. And then I want to as well add a new, basically a new tab here, which is like a volume thing, and you can add it to the scene, or like maybe it's an entity, I don't know, didn't decide yet. But basically you create a volume, you place it somewhere in your scene. So let's assume this is my volume, right? And then I say, okay, I place it here, exactly here. Then I give it a size of like 100 meters, for example, in all directions. And then you can give it a different shader, and that overrides, or like, depending on the operation that you choose, it adds the terrain or shapes the terrain with a different shader. So that's as well one way to do like local overrides in a very performant way. That's the idea. So I have like still a lot of stuff to do. But yeah. But all of that is more for the editor side, not for the runtime. If you want runtime editing, it mostly boils down probably to like those objects, right? Where you have like spheres, primitives or something like that, where a player goes in and like, yeah, digs a hole here in like whatever shape. So basically like that, right? You would, as a player, you would never like place whole graphs, right? You would always do it like this. Most likely, maybe with a different shape, right? I can maybe give it a mesh shape or something like that. It doesn't need to be a sphere, particularly, or like necessarily. That's the word I was looking for. But yeah, a lot of stuff that can be done and I want to do. I can show you. I mean, what I is that a really good example? Let me quickly check again. YouTube. Oh, well, let's go here first. Where is my videos here on that old channel? Your videos? Let me mute that because I don't think it's a copyright-free thing. So what I did is, so I mean this is 2D noise, right? It's not so unconvincing, right? I mean you need like better texture, stuff like that, but it's not so bad, I would say. It's just a plain terrain, right? There is no assets on top, but I wouldn't say it's bad. And there was like not a lot of tweaking or anything. You can do way more, like if you tweak the like the noise values better. And then this is a 3D version where you have like floating stuff as well, which looks then maybe not so convincing anymore at that point because it looks very alien-like. But yeah, this one is as well totally randomly generated, right? The base terrain, and then like grass is spawned on top, but I wouldn't say it looks too bad. And looks somewhat realistic. I mean, that looks fine, right? I would say. That looks like a thing that could exist. Maybe the hills are like too close together, right? That's a matter of scale then. As I said, you need to combine a lot of different noise amplitudes and frequencies. And this is just 5, I think. And then you get like it very condensed, I would say. But yeah. I would say that's pretty... I turn it off, I turn it off. Don't want to give you a bad feeling. So yeah, I think noise is the way to go for a base terrain. Fun fact, that's something I thought about WhatsApp, but probably that will take me some time to do that. But I had that idea, well, I say I had that idea, my fiance had that idea, and I want to try that with the AI, but let's see when I come around to that, because first I have to understand how I even would set up an AI model for that. I am using something else, but it's very similar to marching cubes. It's called cubical marching squares. And let me show you what that is. Marching squares is the 2D version. Is that the paper? It's from a Chinese university, I think. Yeah, it's the paper. So it's called cubical marching squares. Marching squares is the 2D version of marching cubes. And then they added the cubicle to make it 3D, which sounds kind of weird, but it has a lot of benefits versus the normal marching cubes. So first of all, it's simpler because you have only 16 cases, and you split your cube into the faces, and you basically draw line segments on the faces, and then you merge them together. As you can see here, right? You draw the per face line segments, and then you patch them together, and that turns out into a mesh again. And that sounds like a lot of work, but the benefit of that is, first of all, the algorithm itself is very simple for extracting the mesh, I would say. Yeah, that's the classical marching cubes, yes. And marching squares is the same. You have a lookup table. It's just on the face of a cube, right? And then you need to... No. It's marching cubes and marching squares for 2D. So marching cubes is the 3D version. Marching squares is the 2D version. And then this cubical marching squares is a separate algorithm. It's not marching cubes. It's basically breaking the cube into the faces of the cube and then using marching squares, so the 2D version, to extract the mesh. It stitches it back together at the end. Is it shown here somewhere? Not really. The paper is a little bit badly written. I think I have... Wait, let me quickly go to my... is that the right browser? No, it's not. Need to go to my private one. And then give me a second, because I have done something. And I think I explain it a little bit better, hopefully. There. Because I did the presentation back at Ubisoft. Because we could present whatever we want. Basically I did that, and let me go back to where the cubical marching squares begins. Is it here? Yeah, marching squares. So that's marching squares, right? So that's the 2D version. You have 16 cases. That's basically all the 16 cases, how you can do it in 2D, right? The red is inside. Not red, it's outside. And then you have a couple of ambiguous cases, but that's the same for the marching cubes in 3D, right? Just that you have 255 different cases, I think. And then cubical marching... Oh, that's marching cubes. That's that one. Let's leave that out. So yeah, that's cubical marching squares. So what we do is, as I said, we generate an octree that's optional. We unwrap every 3D leaf, which is a cube, run the marching squares per face, and then we resolve some ambiguities. You can leave that out as well. That one is as well optional, and then you put it back together to 3D. So that's basically this, right? You unwrap it, draw each line with the marching squares, and then you stitch it back together. And that gives you a good, that gives you a valid mesh again. And the benefit of that is you can run that multi-threaded, because each cube is independent from the other. You don't have any dependencies between two octree nodes. Yeah. So you can multi-thread it and run it on the GPU very nicely. Because all the dual contouring and stuff like that, they have interdependency between the cells. And yeah, nice to see you, AQ. I always see you at Cake Stream. Nice to see you here. And Cecilia, thank you for the follow. Really appreciate it. We will do a couple more minutes, 20 more minutes or so. I don't think I will finish it now that I see the time. I mean, I was not able to finish it anyways, probably, but yeah. Sample. Where do we want to go? Sample texture node? We copy that one. It's the most complex one, but it's fine, I guess. We don't want a flexible pin node. We want probably 3 in, 1 out. The question is, what do I output here? Oh, the VEC4, right? Yeah. Volume out in. That should be a vector 4f, right? Volume. Well, volume. Yeah, let's call it volume. No, it's technically the gradient and the distance, but I think that's a little bit unnecessary. So that's CSG sphere node. CSG sphere volume graph node. Let's call it that. And we do 3 in, 1 out. 3 in, 1 out. God damn it, I can't type at all. Ah, yeah, we do it like that. So that is a shadergraph node. Probably. Right, sample texture node is probably as well. Yeah, shadergraph node, yeah. And then here, the in type is a float. For the radius, a vector 3f for the center. And I think that's actually it. We only need 2. And then the out is a vector 4f. Then we can get rid of that. Make that. That is volume. I think we volume shader graph. I don't know. And then here, that is CSV volumes graph node. The names, not a big fan, but maybe we come up with something better eventually. We technically don't need an update, but it's fine. The on serialize we do need, that we need. On changed, don't need that. And we need all of that, we don't need any of that crap. Not sure if I need any of that. Let's see. Sample texture node. Go to the CPP. Go to the CPP, include. Data graph. Nodes. That one. Namespace. Get rid of the outer namespace here. Get rid of that. Put that here. Get rid of that. Render graph. Not sure why that's included, but let's leave it for now. CSG volume sphere graph. Actually, we don't think we need a constructor or destructor here. Oh, well, and this is a well, vector 3 and a float. Not sure how I fucked that up, but fine. Alright, let's go here. Don't think we need those. That one is CSG volume sphere node. Or is it in? Yeah, it's in the wrong namespace, of course. Unserialize. Okay, then we don't need that. We don't have any custom stuff here. This is that. We don't have that. We don't need that. And the do generate shader is simpler as well, way simpler. Basically, we just want the is any out pin connected. Well, actually, we probably just want if the out pin is connected. Basically, context is pin connected, out pin. Then we do that. If that is false, basically, let's do that. And then return. Otherwise, we generate our shader code here. We don't need that, and we need that, yes, and we don't need the pin visibility, okay. Don't need the on UI draw node as well. Don't need any of that, I think. This is in pin 0. In pin 1, out pin. Alright, and then the shader code is fairly simple. What we do is we have a sample here. Basically, we do this plus get value and gradient, and that is our out value already. That is a sample, of course. And then we need sample texture node. Do we? Oh, we don't, or what? Include. We don't do that yet, okay. So basically as well, generator, add include. This one for the sphere. Yeah, then we need some sample texture node. Or do we? Maybe the arithmetic nodes are easier. Arithmetic nodes, shader. I think they are simpler in the sense of what we want to do. So we have get type as shader string. We don't need that. We know that we want here a CSG sphere. Sphere. Probably not pin ID. We probably want here the global ID of the node. Get ID? Yeah. So that's that. And then we have here this basically with a comma, and then here we do this, this, and this, and we say in pin position is context get pin data of the in pin 0. And then this is the last one. Don't need that. So that's our ID. I think that should already work like that, hopefully. And then position X, position Y, position Z. Yeah. And then a radius. Radius. The base was never entities, right? The base terrain was never an entity itself. The brushes that you apply are entities. But the base plane and stuff like that was never an entity, right? Because it was just here. So you had no way of controlling that right now. The rest will stay the same. So the edits will still be entities that you can delete and stuff like that. It's really just the base, giving you more freedom for the base of the terrain. So it's that, and then we append another one where we do basically this. So we have a vec4 with the pin now, and that needs to be the pin ID. Where is the... Wait, is that all? No, right? Append code. Ah, here. That is it. I want this. So basically vec4 of this. Okay, yeah, that's fine. And then we do this super for the ID. We could probably do that, maybe it's nice. So let's actually try that. So let's say string sphere variable name format. And then string out pin variable name. What's this? With the out pin. I think we don't need that. And I hope I don't need this, but I'm not sure. We will find out, I guess. Wait. Oh wait, I can find that out. I have a... Do I not have a... toString? Maybe I don't. Okay, maybe I need it. That's a flaw, not gonna lie. Something to address. And then we can basically just do this here. This here. Say here sphere variable name. Here out pin variable name. And then we do this. Yeah, we need to be able to have the word position, that's fine. And then this one we need to replace, right? So in here, that one goes away. And that is just the sphere variable name. And this is append code does already do... No, right? We need to do \ns, yes. Which might not be optimal, but what can you do? That should do the trick. And let's go to volume module. Graphics system actually first. Nah, that's not what I wanted. Sample texture, where is it? Get rid of that. Volume CSG sphere volume grade node. Alright. Let's see if we have that. Oh yeah. Yeah, that one we can leave empty for now. We will never run it in a non-shader related way, probably anyways. Yeah, let's... Yes, here. And then... Oh yeah, we have it. And that's it. Perfect. And in theory, if we save that into a create or like Swizzle vector 4, I think, and then into a material out, and we do a 10 and here 50, and if we save that we should already hopefully see something. Data, S volume graph, O volume. Let's see. Ignore all the vertex crap. I mean, yeah, that worked. And I think we have everything here. So this one. Okay, that's a. We are outputting. This is wrong, right? That's probably a leftover. Yeah. So that line is useless. But yeah. And that's the node here. Perfect. Shouldn't the node have a name? When we do the generate in where was the shadergraph serializer, right? No, not here. In the compile. Shadergraph. Generate. Node get name. And we don't have a name? Debug name. That sucks. I mean, I guess I could give myself a debug name. That's not optimal. I think I want to do it different. But for now we can do that. Eh? Why can I not? Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay. Whatever. So if we do that, now we should have done a thing in the... And we included, or did we include? Do we have to include? Oh yeah, we have here. CSG include. Perfect. It's just generating the wrong type of shader, of course. But we should be able to open it hopefully as well. Ah, we can. Beautiful. And if I save it now again, it will generate the correct shader. Oh, but we didn't restore the radius correctly. That's an interesting one. Okay, yeah, but we did that. Wait, but it did write it out here correctly. What? Hello? What? So if I do that here, I get the radius correctly, but I don't show it here? No, it is 0. Or did I maybe not reload it or what? Ah, maybe, yeah. Okay, yeah. But why would that not work for floats? But for vectors it did it? Fascinating. A bug has been found. Not even sure where I would look for that, to be honest. I mean, I actually kinda know where to look for it. It should be in this file. At the bottom, I think. How about we saved it as 0? Did I really save it as 0? Or did I just not? Ah, yeah, I mean, now I saved it as 0 for sure, but... Okay, it doesn't work. It doesn't read it correctly. Why would that be the case? Is it here? When we deserialize? Or is it? Where do we deserialize the shader? The graph. Because that's... Ah, here. Deserialize a graph. Serialization. Okay, that doesn't work. Shader graph? Does that work? Okay, maybe not. Beautiful, that is actually painful. But it's okay, I guess. Never mind. Oh god. Wait. Node graph serialize. Oh, wait, okay. Good, good. Data. So now it says 60, right? Yeah. And then we save that as... How many constant pin datas do we have? Okay. Good. Alright. Do right. Yeah. Okay. Shouldn't that work then? Why would you not write 60 in there? Or do you write 60 but you don't read 60? That might be the other way, right? Okay, you write 60 but you might not read it. Okay, okay, okay. Let's see, why would you not read it? Deserialize. Data. We read for each entry in data. Get the global ID. Okay, let's try that. So we open that and we open that. Is it because it thinks it's... Okay, so we get a pin hopefully. So that's a vector 3 float, yeah. And that's fine. Wait, what? No. Shouldn't it hit another one? Read for each. Read for each. And that should be probably... Oh, it's a map, right? So it's probably that. Now let's do that again. Is the count wrong or what is going on here? Corsac. Count is 2. Okay, do I do something wrong here? I0. Now we go in here. That's success, that's success. So we write that. And we are in I1. And we can't create a scope. Because it's not... Why is that even here? I think that's wrong here. With the 0 it succeeded. Why did you succeed actually with 0? Oh no, wait, actually... Okay, can we do that again? Aren't you an object? Yeah, current index. I'm stupid. Why am I even looping it like that? But okay. Holy. That is a nice find. Oh, it works. Okay, cool. Let's call it a day for today. We will do the rest tomorrow. So basically we need to change this so that we don't output a PBR shader, of course, right? We need to create just a header for the shader. We probably do a full shader. Yeah, we create an O shader, but one that basically will just run the volume logic. So we will do that. Should be fairly straightforward to do. Will that work? We need to probably create a couple of shaders though. Yeah, I have to think about that today because we need the preview right as well. That needs to take that into account as well for the brush preview because we need the SDF function there as well. So maybe we need to generate multiple. Yeah, let's see. I will think about that. It's not really a big problem, just something that I have to consider. So yeah, thank you very much. Thank you again, Shaw, for the raid. Really appreciated that people stayed as well. As I said, I stream from Wednesday to Monday basically now during October and November. Every day I try to stream. Sometimes streams are cut because of other real life stuff, right? So tomorrow usually I would stream in the afternoon, but unfortunately, I have plans with my fiance, so we will stream in the evening instead. So I will probably be around, let's say 5, 6, something like that, maybe 7, I don't know, depending on how long we are out. But I will for sure come tomorrow. No excuses. So I want to get that done before Monday for sure with the shadergraph. Because then we can polish and improve the terrain and ship it. Have a good night yourself as well, WhatsApp. Let's see who we can raid. Any suggestions? Otherwise I will just try to find someone. Thank you for the follow, AQ. C++. Is there people doing C++ at this time of the day? Not really. And if I would have guessed, probably nothing with Vulkan as well, because as I already found out, I'm one of the few people that does Vulkan. So let's see, maybe game dev, game development, let's do that. 6 days until demo release. Is that TenjiDD? That looks like TenjiDD. No, it's not. Just kidding. Yeah, let's rate this guy. He just started streaming. I hope it's English. It says it's English. It's some 2D game, but it doesn't say the engine, so let's find out. Thank you very much, and yeah, hopefully see you tomorrow. Have a nice rest of your evening and a nice weekend if you don't join tomorrow. Bye bye.